All right, so we're back. Had to take a couple weeks off and get a few things done and get some training out of the way and some qualifications and things like that. And now all that is handled and behind me, so it's time to get back up here and have some fun with some craziness that is going on in the world today. And one of the things, now this happened, I'm sure everybody's heard about this, about Bruce Springsteen going out there and being Bruce Springsteen, just being an unhinged liberal, completely uninformed, clueless, goes over to Manchester doing a tour over in the UK. And on his first night, decides to go over there and bash Donald Trump and his administration. And you think he would have learned from the disaster that was the Dixie Chicks, because we all saw how well that went when they went out and started bashing President Bush. And here's the deal. It doesn't bother me that he's bashing Donald Trump. Do what you got to do. Bruce Springsteen's an unhinged liberal, so he's going to do that anyway. But don't do it in such a forum to where, you're out there entertaining and you got to stop everything you're doing to make yourself look like an ass. And that's exactly what he did. And like I said, the Dixie Chicks did this. Even when President Bush was at his lowest numbers ever, when he just wasn't faring well at all, and it still absolutely backfired on them. When that wasn't Natalie, whatever her name is. I don't know anything about the Dixie Chicks. But when she decided to run her mouth, and that caused a lot of backlash. And, love it or hate it, the same is going to happen to Bruce Springsteen, because we're all kind of in the same boat, Republican or Democrat. If you want to go out there and you want to talk about your views, go on to some political show or whatever, or do what I do, that's fine. But, I'm a musician, and, we play shows. Now, granted, nothing like Bruce Springsteen. It's not what we do. I'm just a musician and we have a band and we go out and we have fun with it. But never once, doesn't matter how many people are at my show, do I sit there and do anything political, because that's stupid. Because, people come to see us because, they just want to be entertained. They want to have fun. They want to have some drinks. They want to talk. They want to chat, And the same thing, when I go to see a concert, I don't go to listen to your political views. I simply don't do that. And nor do I want to hear your political views when I just paid $9,000 to come see your stupid ass at a show. I simply don't want to hear your political views. I want you to entertain me. And I've said this 1,000 times. Keep your mouth shut. Just entertain me. That is your only job, is to entertain me. That's it. You have no other job. I didn't pay money to hear you run your mouth about anything else. I paid money to see you perform your music. Now, with that being said, I will come out and say I do not like Bruce Springsteen. It has nothing to do with this. I've never liked Bruce Springsteen. I've never liked his music. And it's pretty funny because after I got divorced, I don't know 9 years ago now. I don't know, 9, 10 years. I don't know. I was single for 6 years after my divorce. I did not want to date. I did not want to remarry. I just didn't want to do anything that involved a woman. Because, man, I was just, and if you're a male and you went through, a rough divorce, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And, but lo and behold, my band, we were playing a show, and I've told this story before. My wife walks in with her cousin, and that's where we met. Because we do 80s rock and 80s metal, and they come down to see us on her birthday, and that's how we met. Well, on our first date, the first thing we did, because she had been divorced also, the first thing we did is we went through our filling out period right out of the gate. And we started asking each other questions. And I had to ask her because, music's a big part of my life. I've been playing forever. I teach music. And so I asked her, I said, Rolling Stones. She said, can't stand them. And I was like, thank God. Now, I'm not saying that the Rolling Stones aren't talented. I'm not saying that. I just personally don't like their music. It's just not my bag. The very next one out of my mouth was Bruce Springsteen. And she said, he's horrible. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to marry this girl. Right out of the gate, this is what happened, because I can't stand Bruce Springsteen. I've never liked his music. I don't understand. I never understood his fame. But then again, I never understand a lot of people's fame. There's so many mediocre musicians and even more mediocre actors and actresses that for some reason just blow up they're at the top of their world, but they're just really not all that good. I never really understood that, but it happens. It happens. People get fame for the weirdest reasons. Look at the Kardashians. Absolutely talentless, hacks, worthless, waste of space. And they're worth hundreds of millions of dollars. They're insanely famous for some odd reason. I can't wrap my brain around it. And honestly, it's kind of like Bruce Springsteen. I don't like him. I don't like his music. I don't like his politics. I don't like how he acts. I don't like how he carries himself. So with that being said, now that I've got all that out of the way, let's go ahead and play a little clip here of Bruce Springsteen running his mouth, acting like an idiot over in Manchester, and then we'll go on from there.
There's some very weird, strange, and dangerous shit going on out there right now. In America.
Okay, sorry. I am going to have to stop this and comment. I can't watch the whole thing and just let it play through without saying it. And, and this is funny to me that he's such a liberal and he's such a hypocrite that he said there's some weird and dangerous things going on in our country right now, in our world right now, and in America. Okay, so are you referring to Joe Biden when he was letting in all the illegals that were killing Americans? Is that what you're talking about? Raping women, bashing their heads in with rocks, because that happened with illegals. Is that what you're talking about? Illegals beating our police officers, throwing things at them? Because since Donald Trump's been president, I feel 1,000 times safer. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about, Bruce.
They are persecuting people for using their right to free speech and voicing their dissent.
Sorry again. So where's this happening at? It's not happening here. But the funny thing is it's literally happening in the very place that he's complaining about this at, over in England. You simply, if you go on Facebook and you say something they deem hate speech, they will come to your house and arrest you. That's not happening here in America, Bruce. What are you talking about? And this is what I'm talking about. He's 100% uninformed. He's clueless. He's on here ranting and has no idea what he's talking about. I, right now, can say anything I want about anybody as long as I'm not doing anything, shockingly stupid. Hey, I'm going to come over there and murder you. I can't do that, of course. And I don't care who's president. You simply can't do that. But I can say Donald Trump sucks. Worst president ever. Terrible. Oh, well. I can say Joe Biden sucks. Worst president ever. Terrible. Never should have been elected. Oh, well. Nobody's going to show up at my door and arrest me. Nobody. I can say trans people are weirdos. They're mentally deranged. They have no idea what they're doing. They should all be in a hospital. Because that is my First Amendment right. And that's when the First Amendment kicks in. The First Amendment kicks in when I am saying things you don't like. That's when the First Amendment protects me. And so he has no idea what he's talking about. And just, one of the many reasons I do not like Bruce Springsteen.
This is happening now. In America, the richest men are taking satisfaction in abandoning the world's poorest children to sickness and death.
That's an absolute lie. What is he talking? I don't even know what he's talking about. I have no idea what he's talking about. What children are we abandoning? Who are we abandoning? This makes no sense to me whatsoever. And if he's referring to the illegal immigrant that Trump deported, and then her kids went with her. They decided to go with her. She wanted her kids wanted to go with mom, so they all got deported. Is that what you're talking about, Bruce? Because what children are we abandoning? What poor people are we abandoning? Please tell me, because I'm missing this. I'm absolutely missing this. I've yet to see the Trump administration say anything. Well, you know what? Those poor people, piss on them. We're not even worried about them. Now, what I did see is Joe Biden raise the price of everything 30% and make it 10 times harder for poor people to buy food and things. I did see that, but I haven't seen that under the Trump administration. And before you liberals start whacking off about tariffs, please know what you're talking about before you say anything. Just please know what you're talking about. Because you want me to tell you how much tariffs have affected us so far? Zero. None. Not one penny has tariffs affected us. Not at all. We haven't bought anything that we've had to pay tariffs for. So before you start on that, just, keep your unhinged comments to yourself about that because you don't know what you're talking about.
This is happening now. In my country, they're taking sadistic pleasure in the pain that they inflict on loyal American workers.
And who is that again? Who is that? Are you talking about the auto unions that completely backed Trump because he put the tariffs on cars coming into the country, which will secure their jobs in the future? Are those the people you're talking about? Because there again, what are you talking about? Who's losing their jobs because of Donald Trump? And don't say people in government, because most of them need to lose their jobs. Because you got to remember, those people are paid by our taxes. And the amount of waste and inefficiency in the government is exacerbating. So you can't say that. But who's losing their jobs? I guess Bruce didn't see the last jobs report. That was much better than expected, as opposed to Joe Biden's jobs report, which they always said was much better than expected. In every single quarter, they had to scale it back. Every single quarter, they lied about the jobs numbers, and they had to scale it back. And then coming to the end of Biden's tenure, the jobs reports were horrible, absolutely horrible. So what are you talking about, Bruce?
Rolling back historic civil rights legislation that led to a more just and plural society.
What civil rights legislation is being rolled back? Name one civil rights legislation, what an idiot, that has been rolled back. Name one. The only thing that I can tell you that is being destroyed right now is Title IX by the Democrats, by letting trans men compete against women. That's literally the only thing that I can think that is being destroyed right now for rights against a gender or race. The ones that are being destroyed right now are women. The party of women seems to hate women an awfully lot because they're doing everything they can to destroy their sports.
They're abandoning our great allies and siding with dictators against those struggling for their freedom.
I just want to go ahead and show that. And sorry about the comments, but I just can't let that play through when you have somebody like Bruce Springsteen, who's 1,000% clueless and uninformed, go out there and trying to lecture people about politics. So regardless of that, Trump fires back. Trump puts a post up on Truth Social, and he says, "I see that highly overrated Bruce Springsteen goes to a foreign country to speak badly about the president of the United States. Never liked him and never liked his music or his radical left politics. And importantly, he's not a talented guy. Just a pushy, obnoxious jerk who fervently supported crooked Joe Biden, a mentally incompetent fool, and our worst ever president, who came close to destroying our country." Well, that is true. That is absolutely true that did happen. And that's what Bruce Springsteen, that is what he supports. It's absolutely what he supports. So then Trump goes on and puts on another post on Truth Social. Sleepy Joe didn't have a clue as to what he was doing, but Springsteen is dumb as a rock and couldn't see what was going on, or could he, which is even worse. This dried out prune of a rocker, that is fantastic. His skin is all atrophied. Ought to keep his mouth shut until he gets back into the country. That's just standard fare. Then we'll see how it goes for him. All right, that is true. You should keep your mouth shut. Don't go out abroad and start bashing the United States and a president, because I'm going to tell you right now, that makes you a hypocrite, and that makes you a coward. And Bruce Springsteen is a coward. He's 100% a coward. And this is how much of a coward that he is. So, he goes out, bashes Trump, does his, Bruce Springsteen, I'm an idiot thing that he loves to do. And then this happens. Singer-songwriter Bruce Springsteen, also known as The Boss, ignored a question regarding his ongoing feud with President Donald Trump while signing autographs for fans. The Boss worked his way down a line of fans, hoping to get his signature on a piece of memorabilia when he was asked if he had a message for Trump. Rather than answer, Springsteen could be seen chuckling for a moment before raising his hand and then moving on to the next fan. When he gets back to America, he's not going to say anything. But when he's, thousands of miles away, he's going to do this. He's going to run his mouth. You got to remember, he endorsed Kamala Harris. And that already tells us how intelligent Bruce Springsteen is, which is zero, because Kamala Harris was literally the worst presidential candidate. And I'm not going to say in my lifetime. I'm literally going to say ever. In the history of politics, she was the worst candidate because she is that dumb. So he endorsed her, and he did a video, put up a video singing, I think it was Born in the USA. It's either that or Dancing in the Dark. I cannot remember which one it was for Kamala Harris. They did a little performance thing for her, and it was god-awful. He was out of key the entire time. Sounded terrible. It sounded like he hadn't slept in 4 days. I always thought his voice was kind of crappy, but it was especially crappy during that. But the amazing thing was, it was just simply out of key. And I'm sure you can go online and you can find it. I'm not going to look for it. It's out there. It's out there. And you can just type in, I think, Bruce Springsteen, Kamala Harris, and it'll pop up. And it's absolutely horrible. The whole thing's just out of key, and it's absolutely terrible. So Bruce Springsteen goes out there, acts like a fool, bashes Trump. Trump comes back. Bruce Springsteen comes back. Trump comes back. Bruce Springsteen is becoming one of the, you got Bruce Springsteen, Stephen King, which is just known as the old crotchety man on X now. And then the other nutbag, Mark Hamill. These three are just completely unhinged, left-wing, liberal nutbags. Nutbags. They would be better off just to go home, sit in their rocking chair, eat their fruit cup, and shut up. That would be the best thing for them to do. But it even gets better. This is fantastic. A tribute band dedicated to the boss music pulled the plug on a gig at a bar not from his Garden State home after a dispute with its owner over the singer-songwriter's anti-Trump comments, according to a report. No Surrender, a 20-year-old 9-piece Springsteen cover band from New Jersey, was slated to play Riv's Tom's River Hub on May 30th until the I'm on Fire singer kicked off his European tour packed with onstage rants flaming President Trump. Band leader Brad Haberkorn, never heard that name, started receiving concerned text from the bar owner Tony Rivoli shortly after Springsteen's comments went viral, according to the outlet. By Sunday, Rivoli allegedly put the kibosh on the show that was booked 9 months in advance. He texted Haberkorn while the gig would be too risky at the moment, citing the restaurant's conservative customer base, the outlet reported. This is not political for all of us, Haberkorn told the outlet Thursday. We're just a cover band that's trying to make some money, and people rely on it financially. We're the ones really getting hurt. So Bruce Springsteen's comments apparently not only hurt Bruce Springsteen and makes him look like an idiot, but it hurts the Bruce Springsteen cover bands that are out there. Now, I've got to ask these guys, for the love of God, why would you want to be a Bruce Springsteen cover band? Because I can tell you right now, that's a cover band I would never go see in my life. If you're going to do a cover band, do the iconic ones, do the classic ones. I don't think Bruce Springsteen is iconic nor classic, as opposed to, like Brett Floyd, who does Pink Floyd. They're Pink Floyd. But, not to knock these guys, but, it's not very hard to be in a Bruce Springsteen cover band. Sing like you got a bunch of rocks in your mouth where all your teeth are loose. Go out there and, poorly play a guitar, and you can do Bruce Springsteen. Nothing evidently hard about playing Bruce Springsteen. But I'm not knocking the cover band at all. I'm sure they're a great cover band. And, and they may enjoy being a tribute band for Bruce Springsteen. I would not, however, but they may enjoy that, and good for them, because that's what music's about. Music is about everything. It's about emotion. It's about feeling. And it's for everybody. And if they want to be in a Bruce Springsteen band, cover band, that's fantastic. At this point, I think I would not do it, simply because I can tell you now, and you can bank on this. You can bank on this. Because of Bruce Springsteen's, well, just because he's completely uninformed and opening his mouth, this will hurt this cover band's shows. Because you have people who are truly conservative, who are going to see what Bruce Springsteen did and said, you know what, I can't, what an asshole. Just keep it to yourself, dude. A lot of people, well, I liked him. I don't like him now, because that's the political environment we live in. Everything's so divided that when you go out there and you go to another country and you bash, our country and our president, that's going to piss a lot of people off. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, I was going to go see them, the cover band, but since Bruce Springsteen opened his mouth and acted like a fool, Not going to waste my money now. So, Bruce Springsteen, you helped nobody. You sure as hell didn't help yourself. You didn't help yourself. And you went over to UK and said a bunch of things when you have no idea what you're talking about. No idea. You literally said that people are being persecuted for what they're saying in the very country where they're persecuting people for what they're saying. That's how stupid you are. Shocking to me. Shocking to me. So, I just wanted to talk about this one thing because I've said this a million times, and especially about actors. What's that other band? Green Day. Oh, my God. I cannot stand Green Day. I literally can't stand Green Day. I can't stand them. That little Billy, whatever that little dork's name is, the singer, I physically cannot stand that band and that guy. And it's not so much because they're uninformed liberal unhinged liberals, which personally I think would probably be terrorists given the chance. But when I lived in Alabama, I don't care what radio station you turned on. It was playing Green Day. If you had 42 stations on your radio, no matter which station you turned it on to, it was freaking Green Day. It's like in Alabama, all they play is Green Day. And I got to the point where I was just so sick of Green Day. Then, of course, this Bill, what's his name? Billy Bob, Joe, Bojo. I don't even know the guy's name. That's how important they are to me. Then he came out and started running his mouth not too long ago. And I'm going to tell you now, as soon as you do that, I'm out. I'm out. I'm absolutely out. As soon as you, and I don't even care if you're a conservative musician, don't go to your show and bash Biden. Don't do that. Because that's not what we paid to see. That's not what we paid. And even if you're a conservative, country star, which I really don't listen to country or whatever, and you start bashing, Biden or whoever the Democrat president is at the time, you're still going to lose me as a fan because that's not what I'm interested in hearing from you. All I want you to do is entertain me. That's it. I don't want your political views. I don't want your voice. Now, if you want to take up and start a political podcast, okay, well, if I tune into that, I know what I'm going to hear. But, and I'm not saying Billy Joel did this, but if I go to a Billy Joel concert, I didn't pay $250 for a ticket to go up there and listen to his political views. I just simply don't want to hear it. I don't even want to hear what he had for dinner last night. I don't want to hear what movies he likes, what movies he doesn't like. All I want is for the piano man to sit up there and play the damn piano. That's it. That's what I paid for. I didn't pay for anything else. Now, if you were doing a show called I Hate Biden, and I paid $250, then I would expect for you to go up there and bash Biden because I knew what I was getting on the front end. And, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just one in a million. And like I said, I don't care if you're bashing Democrats or Republicans. It's not what I paid for. I don't want to hear it. I just want you to entertain me. I just want you to do your job. That's it. So I'm going to wrap that one up. I figured I just kind of had to talk about that for a minute. And I just found it interesting that this actually blew all the way back to a cover band. I just thought that was, wow, how one moron can go up and say something. And what's it called? The butterfly effect? It's kind of like the butterfly effect.